So, but anyways, folks, feel free to give us a call at 941-745-1490 or 888-761-1490. I do have a question for you, listeners, viewers. Do you or someone you care about have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? It's called ADHD, and it affects 6 out of every 10 people. The symptoms are restlessness, distraction, disorganization, low arousal, impulsiveness, craving for stimulation, and more. Most doctors prescribe ADHD drugs, but there's also brain training for ADHD that is safe, reliable, and effective. And it's so easy, apparently, you can do it while lying flat on your back with your eyes closed. How do we know this? Because our next guest is about to tell us. And she is Nicky Vanvalkenburgh, author of Train Your Brain, Transform Your Life, Conquer Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder in 60 Days Without Ritalin. And her book was voted Best Self-Improvement Book of 2011 by Mom's Choice Awards and Best Motivational Book by Reader's Favorites Awards. She was also a grand finalist in the USA Today Book Awards in Health. Let's see, alternative medicine category. Nicky is a motivational writer with 20 years experience writing for newspapers and magazines, and she has a master's in journalism and a bachelor's in psychology. Nicky Vanvalkenburgh, welcome to the Mix Show. See, I forgot to take you off hold.
You forgot to push the button.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Welcome, Nicky Vanvalkenburgh, to the Mix Show.
Hello.
Hello.
What time's our pizza get here?
Hello.
Is this a joke?
I think she's messing with us.
She's goofing us.
She is goofing on us. Hold on here. Hello. Nicky.
Hello.
Nicky.
This is somehow less stimulating than I thought it would be.
Maybe this is part of the therapy. Maybe the silence is forcing treatment. Us to think.
Well, in that case, my ex-wife was full of us.
She provided plenty of therapy?
Yes.
All right. What we'll do is we will see what happened to Ms. Vanvalkenburgh and
hello.
See if we can call her back.
So a guy was pulled up in the driveway outside the studio in his Cadillac, parked right in the middle of the driveway. People out, passenger and the driver were out wandering up and down the sidewalk or the side of the road. I don't know what that means. I see a lot of freaky things in this parking lot.
You see, and I'm in here doing
You're in here
editing
doing show
and stuff. Yeah, I'm doing show prep and stuff, and you guys get to see all the freaks outside during the breaks.
Just lots of odd behavior in this parking lot.
It's a freaky neighborhood, or it's on the fringe of a freaky neighborhood because I see some really some strange stuff.
Are we back?
Hey. Hi, it's Nicky Vanvalkenburgh.
I'm sorry, who?
Nicky
I'm kidding. I'm playing off my attention deficit disorder. So,
I got disconnected earlier, so I'm calling back.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that was me. I don't know. You look like you were on hold.
We would have forgotten to call you back.
Thank you for calling back. So we gave you a wonderful introduction. I'm sorry you missed it.
Oh, okay.
And you have to trust me. And all right. So I was diagnosed with attention. I keep calling it attention deficit disorder, but the new catchphrase now is ADHD.
Right.
I have to keep referring it to that. So I was diagnosed a few months ago with ADHD, and according to the tests, I took numerous tests. I wasn't satisfied with the results of one test, so I said, just give me more, because I was fascinated about this whole area, and I had never known that I might actually have ADHD. So I took as many tests as I could. And according to my doctor, when all those test results came back, I tested, as she said, off the charts. And
really?
Yeah, so a lot of things, actually, it was a real awakening for me because everything started to come together. I was able to look back on my life. I'm 48 years old now. and I was able to look back at my life, and I can see the pattern and of attention deficit and how it's affected my life through from childhood all the way up till now, and so it's kind of like an awakening. I've got this new found knowledge, and I'm just fascinated on areas of how to deal with it, how to work with it, how to conquer it, and of course I have been prescribed Adderall, and I ran into your website and you on the internet, and you were discussing how someone like me could conquer this without taking drugs within 60 days. So I thought, well, I'm the kind of guy who's I don't want to be drug dependent. I hate taking things unless I absolutely positively have to. So in this case, I was like, I have to get this woman on the show, and she's got to tell my audience what's going on. So where do we start here? What's going on? You were diagnosed as well?
Yes, I was diagnosed with ADHD back in graduate school when I was working on my master's degree. And I took Ritalin for a while, and it turned out to be kind of a roller coaster ride for me, that the medicine gets you up, but what comes up has got to come down. And when the medicine wore off, it was like crashing fast. When the medicine was working, I was like the bionic woman with superpowers. But when it wore off, it was like all of a sudden, you're going on a roller coaster backwards in the dark. I had really bad rebounding. I got really depressed when the medicine wore off. I felt incredibly sluggish, and I could take another pill, but then I'd be up all night. So I took it for a while, and then finally I said, "That's it. I'm not going to take this stuff anymore. It's making me crazy." I started having a lot of side effects like looping, dreaming the same thing over and over again. When it wore off, kind of stuck in a continuous cycle, and I would start to do kind of obsessive compulsive things like checking, did I really do my homework, or did I make a mistake, or did I leave something out? So I was always checking, rechecking. Did I lock my dorm room? Did I do this? Did I do that? And never quite sure of myself. And then I finally realized these are side effects from the medicine. I wasn't like this before. So I ended up, I stopped taking the medicine, and about 15 years later is when I found this new system, and a friend of mine called and told me about it, and he said, "This is the most amazing thing." He said, I've had brain fog all of my life. I barely made it through college. I struggled to, get to class on time, read the material, take my exams. I got this system. It's a brain training system. I've been using it, and all of a sudden the fog has lifted. I can read, concentrate, remember what I've read. I'm on time. I sit down at my desk. I get my work done, and I'm like a night and day difference. So I went to the website and I checked out what this system was. And at the time, it was just a picture and a little technical description. And from hearing my friend's testimony, I said, I got to try this thing. It's about $370. So I thought, I'm just going to try it on faith. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work, I'll get my money back. But I tried it, and wow, I mean, this is a really powerful system. And it's so easy, you can conquer attention deficit lying flat on your back with your eyes closed. It's never been easier to conquer ADHD.
Okay, what is this system? What does it consist of? This apparatus.
Well, it's three things. It's headphones, and it's some special eyeglasses, and a little control box with some pre-programmed sessions. And the control box is about the size of a cell phone. So you put on the headphones, you put on the eyeglasses, you lay back on your bed, you cover up with a blanket, you flip the switch on the control box, and you just close your eyes and relax. And what you'll see some mild flashing lights, and then you'll hear some heartbeat sounds. And what you're seeing and hearing is actually the rhythm of peak performance. This is a sound wave, an audio file that was discovered by a neuroscientist at UCLA, and it was clinically found to help people conquer attention deficit. And by doing it every day for just 22 minutes a day, you're practicing it. you're practicing this rhythm of peak performance. And it's the rhythm of a person who's optimally listening, focusing, tuning out distractions, getting organized, and being productive. It's that person that we all want to be. And by doing it every day, just 22 minutes a day, you're practicing it. And it's like they say, practice makes perfect and repetition creates mastery. So by doing it every day, you're practicing it until you master it, and then you can go on autopilot. Then you don't need the system. You're going to do that automatically. Your brain will automatically take that route, which is the rhythm of peak performance.
Okay, so it's a conditioning factor. You're conditioning your brain over a period of time, and hopefully you've trained yourself to the point where you wouldn't need the system anymore.
Right. It's a home-based neurofeedback system, and you can go to a neurofeedback lab and do this with a registered clinician, but it can cost you thousands of dollars. There was a lady in my neighborhood. She said, "Nikki, I've been spending $2,000 a month on treatment like this, and you're telling me I can do this at home?" She said, "This is going to save me a ton of money." And with her, the whole family uses it. She uses it. Her kids use it. When her husband comes home from work, he uses it. So they all use it. They take turns. They keep different little charts on where they are. And they're doing great. They're saving money and doing just perfect on their system.
Any warnings or side effects?
There really aren't any. If you use it as prescribed, and we tell people don't operate heavy machinery while you're doing it or anything crazy like that. Usually you want to do 1 or 2 sessions a day. 2 would probably be the max. But if you just use it as it's recommended, we don't know of any side effects that occur.
Is this available? I mean, is it covered by insurance companies?
Actually, it is in Canada. Now, we don't have that luxury in America, but I have had some clients. I wrote a book, and I have a little white paper called Information for Your Doctor, and you can download that free on my website and take it to your doctor. And in some cases, clients have gotten the system covered by their insurance. Now, in Canada, this is a Class 2 medical device, and it's part of the Health Canada initiative. In Canada, you can walk into any doctor's office, tell them you've got ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, anything like this, even seasonal affective disorder. You can get this system prescribed by law, and your insurance may cover it. It's part of the Health Canada initiative.
I'm thinking about all the people that abuse prescription medications and things like that. Is there a way, if these people were to get a hold of this apparatus, is there any way to abuse it?
Not really. The system was originally discovered by a neuroscientist named Dr. Barry Sturman at UCLA, and he's still there, and he discovered it in the most unusual way. He is a professor, and he teaches medical students about the brain. They'll take neuroscience from him. And he has a college lab where he works with feral cats. These are cats that are born in the wild without any human attention. If you've ever had one of these wild cats, they might come around to your porch, and you try to pet them, and they'll scurry off. They're real jumpy and kind of jittery. Usually they don't like to be handled. They're just not used to human contact. Well, these were the subjects of Dr. Barry Sturman in his lab, and he developed sound waves, and these sound waves reach the sensory motor part of the brain, and when the cats listened to these sound waves, it actually calmed them, and it made them very gentle and quiet, and they were no longer skittish, and they even ignored the distraction of food and water. They just loved this sound. And he thought, well, this is interesting, and he wrote about it in some professional journals. Then one day, his lab assistant came to him, and his lab assistant is Margaret Fairbanks. And she said, Dr. Sturman, I saw what you did with those cats. Do you think you could test that rhythm on me? You see, I have a medical condition, and because of that, I have epilepsy, and because of that, I can't get my driver's license. And it's such a hassle. My husband's got to drive me to work. If I want to get a ride to the store, I have to ask somebody. And I'm just tired of this. I want my independence. I want my driver's license. And Dr. Sturman said, well, I can't make any promises, but okay, why don't you come on in and we'll start doing this rhythm with you, and we'll just see what happens. So she came in every day and listened to these sound waves, and she did it for 30 days and then for 60 days, and then she went back to her doctor. And they ran a battery of tests on her. They did EEGs, MRIs, blood work, all kinds of analysis, and they were just looking at the results and scratching their heads. And they said, Margaret, we don't know what happened, but you don't have epilepsy anymore. It's just gone. It's totally gone. And she's like, will you give me a note, because I want to go to the DMV. And sure enough, she went that day and got her driver's license. Well, it was a landmark case. Everybody was talking about it. People started lining outside of Dr. Sturman's office before he even got there in the morning. They were all lined up. They were like, I want to be the next person to be healed of epilepsy. And I brought my sister, I brought my brother. We all want to be healed. And even to this day, Dr. Sturman works with epileptics. He helps them using the sensory motor rhythm. And this is something that's been widely written about in medical journals, in brain research journals, and Journal of Neurology. But researchers started to say, if he can do that with the stray cats, if he can do that with these epileptic patients, what can he do with children that have learning disabilities? Children that read something and they can't remember what they've read. Or maybe they write their B's and their D's backwards, or their S's. Or they get all stressed out during a test and they can't even think straight. Or children with really bad hyperactivity and they can't sit still, and maybe they're really smart, but because of this disability, they can't do well in school. So Dr. Sturman met with these two psychology professors at University of Tennessee, Joel and Judith Lubar, and they had been working with learning disabled children for years. Well, they started taking his protocol and applying it to ADHD, to dyslexia, auditory processing, all kinds of things like this. And they just saw amazing things happen. Kids that were in special ed or in resource got out of that classroom, back into the normal classroom, got off their medicine, finished high school, went on to college, and never needed that medicine again. He's got 10-year studies of children and even adults that have done so well on this system. And it kind of hit the world of neurofeedback by storm. And today, clinics all over the country are using this protocol. But the beauty of this home-based system, of course, is that you can do it at home. You don't have to walk into a clinic, and that saves you time, energy, and money.
Okay. Mike, do you have a question?
Actually, could you repeat everything you said?
No. He's just kidding.
I'm kidding. Actually,
well, it's all in my book, and if people want to come to my website, I've got the first 2 chapters there. They can read my story, and then they can read this how this protocol was discovered. But it's all on my website, trainyourbraintransformyourlife.com.
I actually do have a question. What does the FDA and the AMA have to say about this system?
Well, I really don't know. It's part of the Health Canada initiative. The headquarters, the company that actually manufactures this brain training system, I had to get a license from them. I had to take a course and pass a final exam in order to be a licensed reseller of these machines. And they are working. They publish a lot of research. They do a lot of studies, and they do seminars and things like that. And that's why I wrote my book, to get the word out. We don't have anything from the FDA. They're in Canada. I'm in the United States. But that's why I wrote my book, to get the word out and for people to try this, because it really can change your life.
Well, I mean, my question basically is this not considered a medical device?
Here in the United States.
In the United States.
It is not in America, but it is in Canada.
Okay.
In Canada, it's a Class 2 medical device.
Well, I'm not one of those people that believes that we here in America have the market cornered on great ideas. But, I'm the same age as Mick. I believe I suffer from many of the same kind of symptoms, undiagnosed and definitely unmedicated. But it sounds good. You know what I mean? It just sounds like that all the things you were talking about. You're talking about. Forgive me, it's flying out of my head.
Yeah, same here.
But you're talking about epilepsy, and you're talking about some other things. How did you come around to the idea of trying this for ADHD, learning disabilities you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, well, like I said, my friend told me about it, and the protocol with this machine is specifically for attention deficit disorder. How it works, it's a 22-minute session, and you just, like I said, you lay back on your bed, you put on the headphones, the eyeglasses, flip the switch in the control box. It's a 22-minute session. You do one session for 5 days, and then you go on to the next one. So there are 12 sessions. You do them 5 times each for a total of 60 days. That's the protocol. And each session gets a little bit progressively more difficult, more challenging.
Well, I'm sorry. These programs are these. This is all programmed in the machine. These different courses.
Right.
Oh,
all
okay,
the different sessions are programmed in the machine.
Okay.
And there's also some additional sessions too. There's a brain booster session. There's a special session for depression. There's even an insomnia session. That if you can't sleep, there's a special session for that. So those are just some little extras with the machine.
And this is all programmed in, and it's not music. We're not dealing with music. We're not dealing with subliminal messages. We're dealing with.
There's absolutely no audio, no spoken narrative. What it is, it's mild heartbeat sounds, and they're synchronized heartbeat sounds, and then there's some flashing lights with the eyeglasses. But the effect is very relaxing. When you're put on the system, it's almost like getting a massage. And most people only see and hear the rhythm for a few seconds, and then they go under. It's kind of like going under an anesthetic or falling asleep. It's just so incredibly relaxing. And then at the end of the session, you'll gently wake up, and then you're ready to go about your day.
All right, and the flashing lights, you're looking at that through your eyelids, with your eyes closed, or with your eyes open?
Yes, with your eyes closed. Okay. Actually, the skin on our eyelids is so thin that the light from the glasses will penetrate the eyelid. So I tell people this is a lazy way to conquer ADHD. I mean, what could be easier than laying flat on your back, your eyes are closed, and you can zone out, and when you wake up, your brain is still being trained, and your brain's doing all the work.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm a little bit. I just.
A little bit skeptical.
Well, it's. I understand the premise, and I think you're going in the right direction. I'm not saying that that this won't work or hasn't worked. Obviously, there are people who, and you're sure that it's not a placebo effect.
Well, that's the question that I asked in my book. That's the question that I asked in the very first chapter. Why, when I got these great results, that's what I said. Is the machine working because I want it to? Is it the placebo effect? Is it because I'm in the right place at the right time, or what is it? So I set out to write my book, and it took me about 3 years to do this research. And when I finally found the stuff on Dr. Barry Sturman and how he found the protocol, it was like finding a buried treasure. I mean, it was so exciting. This is something that the media is not talking about. This is something that's written in professional journals, but who reads the Journal of Brain Science? Who reads the Journal of Neurology? I certainly don't, and my neighbors probably don't either. So I wrote the book because I want people to know about this and to get the word out.
Okay, it's just, you have to understand there's a level of it's not skepticism. It's I'm worried about safety, and the only reason I'm worried about safety is because of people that I've known in my past, or incidents or things in the past that I've studied or known. I knew a guy. Was friends with a guy whose father worked. He was a CIA agent in Vietnam during the 1960s. And one of their programs was to fly these planes, these large-winged planes. They had strobe lights attached to the wings of the plane, and the strobe lights were set to a certain ratio so that it supposedly, the premise was is that if you fly low enough over the jungles and the Vietnamese, North Vietnamese, look at these blinking lights, it was supposed to send them into epileptic shock. So that was one of the experiments that he told me about, that his father was working on when he was stationed over in Vietnam. So I said, okay, that's interesting, because I know that strobe lights, by and large, in the entertainment industry, if you go out and buy one at a store, it's regulated by Underwriters Laboratory and by the government, because it can only flash so many times per second. Otherwise, it can affect people with epilepsy and things like that. And I also know from the drug culture, the counterculture. I myself, I'm anti-drug. If I can get away with not taking Adderall, I would love to. But back in the 40s or 50s, there was a writer, poet by the name of Brian Geisen, and he developed what he called his dream machine, which is a cylindrical, it's a tube with a light bulb in the middle of the tube, and he would cut out different patterns on the tube, and it would spin around in a circle, and he would sit there with his eyes closed, and the different patterns of light would hit his eyelids, and supposedly it would help him to hallucinate. So that was very big amongst the beat poets and the hippies and things like that. So whenever I hear somebody say, "Put on these flashing goggles," I'm thinking, no, I don't want to hallucinate.
Right. Those are interesting stories, and the technology, it could be used for evil, but it can also be used for good. And light has been traditionally used for all kinds of things. For healing wounds, you can actually speed up healing on the body using a laser. Now that technology has been around for years. Dermatologists have used it, and a laser can also be used to, drill a hole through your front door. So technology can be used for good or evil. And I think what those examples that you gave, I don't know, that's kind of a misuse of the technology.
Well, it's for evil purposes, sure. And purposes that are unhealthy.
Right. And people have been using light and sound machines to get into trippy states.
Right.
Psychedelics,
right.
But that's not the purpose of the machine at all. This is a specific protocol that has been developed for ADHD. It's based on the protocol by Dr. Barry Sturman at UCLA, the sensory motor rhythm, because it works with the sensory motor part of the brain. And that's what this protocol is about. It's not about getting high or trippy states or anything like that. This is a specific protocol to bring about change in the brain, to gently coax the brain to follow this sensory motor rhythm and to kind of dance along with it. And by learning this new brainwave rhythm, your brain actually makes a new neural pathway in the brain. You see, because ADHD is when your brain is stuck, kind of parked. Parked is the term that neurologists use. You're parked in the wrong place at the wrong time. And as much as you want to put that car in reverse and back out of there, you can't. That's why you need an interruption. Like when you watch TV and we interrupt this program to bring you this very special announcement, this new rhythm is going to interrupt that pre-existing rhythm. And it's gently going to coax the brain to kind of dance along with it and to start jamming with this new rhythm. And over time, it's like water trickling down a rock. That water is going to trickle down this new path. And it takes about 30 days to create a new habit, but our protocol is 60 days because we want to reinforce and condition those patterns so that it becomes permanent in the brain.
Okay, no, and I wasn't trying to imply in any way, shape, or form that you were providing an item that would cause me to hallucinate or have a psychedelic trip. Now, I was just saying, light had been used for, like you said, evil purposes, or people who are not neurologists, like Brian Geisen. He just discovered this bit and said, "Hey, look at this! I was able to hallucinate without LSD." Well, good for you, but I just did you ever? It's great that he came back to reality, so to speak, to tell us about it. So with this machine, I'm not saying that, but I'm concerned about anything that I use. So when I put this on, I don't want to hallucinate. So I want to, I want to just get on board and try to, if I can rearrange my thought pattern or the brain waves so that I can just focus more and be more productive, then that's what it's all about.
Well, do we have time for a quick testimony that I could tell you about?
Go for it.
Okay, I had a customer in Montana named Randy, and Randy was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, and he is a former military veteran, and he has been out of the military for 15 years, but is still struggling with flashbacks. When he went to sleep at night, he would have flashbacks of the war, hear bombs going off, see artillery and tanks and people dying and bodies everywhere. And every night he woke up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, sitting up straight in bed, and often screaming. Well, his wife wasn't sleeping well. He wasn't sleeping well. He's like, I got to do something. He was trying all kinds of things. He changed his diet, was eating real nutritionally, joined a gym, was running 15 miles a day, got a personal trainer. He started memorizing Bible verses before he went to bed, saying special prayers, doing affirmations, doing progressive relaxation. I mean, everything he could possibly think of. And those things helped a little bit, but his night terrors, what the doctor called night terrors, kept coming back. So his wife and him, they bought the alert system. That's the name of the brain training system that I have. It's called the Alert Brain Training System for ADHD. So they bought the system and began using it every day. And I was checking with him every once in a while and checking with him after 15 days. He said, I'm doing great. I'm still having the night terrors, but less often. Like maybe I'd have them once a week or every 5 days, but not every night. So even that's an improvement. And I said, well, stay on the program, keep using it, and I'm going to check back. So I checked back after 30 days and then after 60 days. And he said, somewhere along the line, my night terrors, they just disappeared, and they're gone. And I've kept in touch with Randy and checked on him, checked how he was doing. And now it's been a whole year. He hasn't had one single remission. Basically, he was on medicine before for the night terrors. He's tapered off his medicine. He's drug-free, and he's also free of the night terrors. And he's really excited about that.
Okay, sounds good to me. Mike, you got a question?
Well, the only question I have, and this is going back to the epilepsy thing, most people I know who are epileptic, and I do know a couple, you couldn't get them near a strobe light on a pet. They just would not do it.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you tell somebody who's an epileptic is afraid of seizing not to go ahead
It's not a strobe light. You're not putting a strobe light on at all. These are glasses with LED light display, and it's a very mild flashing light, a mild synchronized flashing light. But it's not a strobe.
Well,
I'm
thinking in my head.
Disco or anything like that. But, the protocol that we have, it's not really for epilepsy. This is a protocol for ADHD, for post-traumatic stress, for depression, anxiety attacks, and seasonal affective disorder. So it's not really for epilepsy.
So somebody who is epileptic, they should really check with their doctor first.
Right, they can. And what we recommend, if a person with epilepsy wants to try the system, we recommend just using the sound waves, just the sound on their headphones. And if you want to try the glasses, you can, but have somebody with you in the room to make sure you're okay. But get used to the sound waves first before you try the combination of the light and the sound.
Hey, what if what if I play the sound waves on my show instead of playing punk rock music? Come on, don't you think that'd be great for my audience? I might be curing people.
Right. We could charge them a lot more.
She's like, no, you idiot, don't do that.
The protocol has been tested on chickens. That's kind of interesting.
Did you say chicks or chickens?
Chickens.
Oh, okay.
Chickens. A farmer wanted to see if actually it was the school psychologist who helped produce this alert machine, this alert brain training machine for the Mind Alive Corporation, who distributes and sells it. The school psychologist who developed it, his name is Michael Joyce, and he's kind of a farmer. He's got chickens in his yard, and he developed a system where the chickens were exposed to the sound waves and also the lights. I don't know how he got the thing in the chicken coop, but he did.
It's hard to find
and
glasses that size.
He found that they laid more eggs when they did the protocol. But
I think you're onto something, Nicky. I think you got to think outside the box here. It's great. I want to get one of those, but I'm just thinking maybe I should also put these sound waves on my voicemail, so when people call to talk to me, there'll be a little bit of a soothing effect, and hopefully, it'll change their outward, whenever they leave a message for me. I could play it on the radio show. I think you should have this playing like in elevators instead of Muzak. You should be playing your sound from the machines.
Right.
And so when people are going up and down the elevators all day at work, it'll help them to focus. Mm-hmm. They'll be more productive.
Well, that's a great point. And it's like they say, music tames the savage beast. And music has been used like that. That's definitely, in stores to cut down on crime and,
right.
and shoplifting and things like that. So, yeah, that's definitely used. And our system is not the only one out there that's doing this. That there are special CDs and music to calm you down and things like that. And we're not the only ones out there. The whole field of brain training just seems to take the market by storm now. Dr. Daniel Amen, very famous psychiatrist, he's written that book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, and he's on PBS talking about brain fitness. There are all kinds of brain fitness computer programs out there, and it just seems to be the new wave of technology.
Well, I'm just thinking about you, and you're a wife, you're a mother, and and it's just a way to spread the word and just I don't want to say take over, but have this huge positive influence on our society. I think instead of Muzak, I think Nicky Vanvalkenburgh should be putting this stuff in, like you said, department stores and elevators and everything else, and I think it'd be great, Be good
that's an idea.
It'd be good for business, I'm trying to think of if it would be feasible to put it like in a casino. I guess you don't want people to really think clearly in a casino, do you? No, you don't. It's not good for business. All right, never mind. Forget about the casinos. But but you definitely want people to focus, like when they're driving and things like that, and to be able to think clearly.
Sure, it would be tough to wear the glasses and close your eyes while you're
doing
that.
That's true. I'm only
just pointing that out.
If you want to hear some unconventional approaches, the glasses are sometimes used by entire football teams, and they have special glasses. They're cut out, and so that they have the headphones on, they have the eyeglasses, but the glasses are cut out so they can still see out of them. And then they do their drills with them on, like running through those tires with their knees up, or they do their exercises with them on, and it's supposed to get them into a peak state so that they're not jittery about performance anxiety or whatever with the game, that they learn how to be kind of calm and even keeled for their sport, for their performance.
So there is a chance that a slight chance that someone's insurance company may cover this. So how
Yeah.
again? How would I bring this to my doctor's attention? She'd have to fill something out.
Well, I have a free report, information for your doctor, and you can download that. If anybody wants it, just email me or go to my website. It's under the free downloads, and you can just download it, take it to your doctor, and kind of notify your insurance company. And actually, the guy with the night terrors, he successfully got it covered by his insurance. He had been on all kinds of medication, and his condition was well documented, and for that reason, his insurance covered it.
Okay. And what was the website for those who are listening?
TrainYourBrainTransformYourLife.com.
TrainYourBrainTransformYourLife.com. Get the appropriate forms. You can print it off her website, take it to your doctor, and see if the insurance company will help to cover it. If not, how do we go about obtaining this from you?
Well, you can order it on the website. We have a program called Bill Me Later, and you have up to 1 year to pay for the device without interest. So that comes out to about $30 a month. If you can swing that, you can get the system, and it also, the system comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you try it, if it's not for you, you can return it and get your money back.
Okay, and again, they would order this from your website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. TrainYourBrainTransformYourLife.com. If you still have questions, you can always send me an email, or you can get my book, which is also Train Your Brain, Transform Your Life, Conquer ADHD in 60 Days Without Ritalin. And there's over 300 references in the book, and it's written in a conversational manner, but all the research is in there. And there's a lot of information. And I wrote the book so anybody can pick it up and decide for themselves if brain training is right for you.
Okay, and I think on your website it says that people can download the first chapter of your book free of charge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. The first two chapters.
Download it and and
check it out.
Check it out. Mike and I were perusing it this morning and going through everything. And is the book also available in Kindle form or?
We have an ebook version for $10, and then we have, if you want to buy a paperback book, it's $25 with free shipping.
Okay, so it is available electronically, so people can download it as well. Okay.
You can get the ebook, $10. Yeah.
I'm a paper and ink guy. I like flipping pages, but I know so many people with the electronic books, and they don't want to paperback. They want to just download it and get started right away. So it is. Go to her website, TrainYourBrainTransformYourLife.com. Get the first chapter free of charge. Get the form to bring to your doctor to see if maybe your insurance will cover it. If not, you can order it directly from her site, pay for it in full, or $30 a month.
Yep.
What's the total on that? Is there shipping, handling? How do we go about that? What's the price of the item?
Well, it's about $370, and you can order it on the website. And as soon as you click on it, then it'll take you to PayPal, and then you'll get an option there for Bill Me Later, and that Bill Me Later will give you up to 1 year to pay for the amount without interest.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Great.
I want to do it. Because, like I said, I'm just not keen on the drug factor. But at the same time, I don't want to go back to not having the Adderall. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a double-edged sword. It's like I hate the idea of taking the pill, but look what happens when I don't, and I'm just over the whole thing. But it's still I'm at this point in my life where it's just been this major weight off my shoulders because now everything makes sense to me. I'm like, oh, I get it. This is why I haven't been able to finish that book, and this is why I haven't been able to finish that project, and this is why it's affecting me at work. And I get it. Everything makes sense now. So I just feel kind of relieved, and I like the idea of, like I said, just I guess you wouldn't call it homeopathic, but this particular way of
home-based neurofeedback. It's neurofeedback.
Home-based neurofeedback. So I'm all for that. as long as I don't go on a psychedelic trip and, paint my body and go dancing in the street naked, I just, that's just not my scene. I'm sorry, I don't get a thrill out of that, and I don't think my neighbors would either. But so.
Well, it's with ADHD, scientists have discovered that the root cause for it is having a sleepy brain, kind of having a low arousal, and you kind of need something to wake yourself up or something to get yourself into gear, kind of like a cup of coffee or an energy drink or something like that helps you to get into gear, and it boosts the neurotransmitters in your brain. And that's what I asked myself, too, when I wrote the book. Why does Adderall or Ritalin work, even temporarily? Why does it work? And basically, these drugs are amphetamines, and they give you a boost of neurotransmitters. They boost the level of serotonin and dopamine in the brain. But amazingly, this brain training system does the exact same thing without swallowing pills. By teaching by practicing and learning this sensory motor rhythm or rhythm of peak performance, you naturally learn how to boost your neurotransmitters. You naturally learn how to get this stable, even-keeled rhythm going in your brain. And so that naturally corrects the problem. And there's no side effects. There's no potential for addiction. And once you've trained your brain, basically you're set. This is your gains are sustained. This is something that's yours to keep. Something that people ask me all the time. They say, well, if I use this program, will my ADHD disappear forever and never come back? Well, that's the million-dollar question. And, even drugs can't make that claim. Doctors can't say, if you take these pills, your health problems will never come back. But what I can tell you is that it does make lasting and permanent changes in the brain, and these changes, they're yours to keep. But what can cause you to relapse is crisis or trauma. If you have a car accident, a fight with a loved one, if you move into a new house, start a new job, you get fired, anything like that, any sort of crisis or trauma, it could even be a good thing, like having a new love relationship in your life. Anything like that, if your brain waves become disrupted for any reason, they may not go back to normal after the event has passed, but we don't have to run to our medicine cabinet. Just get back on the machine, start using it every day, and you can retrain your brain.
Hey, that's me in a nutshell. No pun intended. No pun intended, because I had some difficulties at work recently. A lot of stress at work, tremendous amount of stress. The wife and I went through buying a new home, trying to sell the old home, getting into the new home. It was just all this stuff piled up at one time, and it was just it was overwhelming. It really was overwhelming, and it's taken me a while to get out of it mentally and just try to have a more positive attitude and see the bright side of things. So it'd be nice to have this set where I could just go in and lay on the bed for a while and hopefully retune my brain. I mean, I personally think that if I'm wired this way, I'm wired this way. And if this can help me, and it's just, like you said, will it ever come back? I think it will. I think I'm just wired this way. But if I can rewire myself,
right.
then temporarily, whether it's for 30 days, 60 days, whatever, then so be it. I mean, it's great.
Right.
And just, keep the unit at hand, take it with you when you travel, and if you feel like you're switching back, then, there you go. Go lay down for 22 minutes, which I'm really good at.
I can take naps to the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, Mike and I have sleep apnea, so, I mean, that's got to be a contributing factor as well. So we're not getting decent night's sleep. So did you ever participate in any theater or acting when you were in college?
Well, I was I did some art and graphic design, things like that, but not really drama.
Oh, very nice.
I was kind of the set design type person.
Oh, okay. You were one of those. You never got picked to be the lead, so you had to go build the wooden trees and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
Paint the scenery. Well,
Yeah.
we're all aspiring actors here on the Mick Show, and this is the part of the program where we like to get our guests involved and basically recite some lines from some famous movies. We'll reenact some scenes, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to participate with me in the final scene of Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. Now, I will play Dr. Zaius, the orangutan professor, so to speak, and you will play George Taylor, who is Charlton Heston. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's test your acting chops here on the Mick Show. This is Nicky Vanvalkenburgh, and she is going to be Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes, and I will be Dr. Zaius. Tell me, why are all apes created equal?
Oh, apes are not created equal. Every ape is different.
No, that's not what. No, that's not. That's not what Taylor said.
Did she have her script?
Yeah, I gave her a script.
I didn't see the movie.
She's going
I
up.
didn't see the movie.
But the script is right there.
Was she here for rehearsal?
No, we don't rehearse.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
There you go.
Some apes are more equal than others.
Oh, she sounds just like Charlton Heston. Okay.
Now I see it.
I see you brought a female of your species. I didn't realize that man could be monogamous.
On this planet, it's easy. Why? I've terrified you from the first doctor. I still do. You're afraid of me and you hate me. Why?
Because you're a man. And you're right. I've always known about man. From the evidence, I believe his wisdom must walk hand in hand with his idiocy. His emotions must rule his brain. He must be a warlike creature who gives battle to everything around him, even himself.
What evidence? There were no weapons in that cave. Dr. Schaus?
That's me. I'm Dr. Zaius. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, there should have been an indentation there.
Okay.
The Forbidden Zone was once a paradise. Your breed made a desert of it ages ago. You're next.
It still doesn't give me the why. A planet where apes evolved from man? This has got to be an answer.
Don't look for it, Taylor. You may not like what you find. Now, Taylor, on his horse, with his female companion, leaves Dr. Zaius and travels down many miles down the ocean front. And this is the last scene of the movie.
They also call that a beach.
A beach. All right.
Oh, my God, I'm back. I'm home. All this time, we finally really did it. Oh, you maniacs, you blew up. Ah, damn you. All to hell.
And scene. There you go. Very good. Very good. Very good, Charlton Heston.
Nice.
Thank you.
We'll get back with you.
Wonderful. Yes. Yes. We'll contact your agent. All right.
Maybe I better stick to my book.
Stick to painting trees on the scenery then. I don't know,
that's right.
but it's okay. All right. So listen, we like to have a little fun with our guests, and we appreciate you jumping in and being a good sport with that.
Sure.
She can't wait to hang up now.
No, thank you, really.
Yeah,
thank you.
Now she's going to go lay down for 44 minutes.
That's right.
With the glasses and the sound. Yeah.
Double dose of therapy tonight.
Exactly. Well, Nicky, we do appreciate you calling, and you'll be hearing from me and or my doctor or my insurance company very soon. And we definitely want to. We're going to try it out on the air. We're going to bring it into the studio one night and
terrific.
Have somebody lay down in the studio live, and we'll stream it while we're doing the show, and we'll see what's going on.
Okay, terrific.
So again,
thanks for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being a good sport. And if they want
to
go to your website, Train Your Brain, transformyourlife.com. And from there, again, they can get the form to print out to bring to their doctor to see if the insurance company will accept it. If not, you can buy this item, this unit, directly from Vicki on the website. And, of course, you can download the first chapter of her book. And I'm sorry, the book again, the whole title is?
Train Your Brain, Transform Your Life, Conquer ADHD in 60 Days Without Ritalin.
Without Ritalin. And you get that free, and you can also download it as an ebook or buy the paperback from her website. So we encourage everybody to go check it out. Nikki, thank you again for calling the Mix Show. We hope to have you on again in the near future.
Yes, I'd love to come back.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.